Welcome back to Songs and Stories of Old Railroad Days. Well, before the railroads could run, they had to be built. Thousands of miles of track had to be built, had to be built, laid, whatever, north, south, east, and west. It was hard, dangerous, and dirty work. And in the early days, it was difficult to find men willing to do that work. The railroad companies advertised to Americans, how many of you want to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, at a dangerous job for little pay? No one raised their hand. They said, where can we find fellas dumb enough, desperate enough to do this work? They said, we'll go to Ireland. I could say that to me entire family came over at the time. Well, they were dumb, but they were desperate. There was no work in Ireland. There was no food. And so the railroad company sent agents over to England and Ireland to recruit workers. And they would go up to them and say, hey, how'd you like to make 30 cents a day, food, shanty, and whiskey? And the Irishman would say, what did you say about whiskey? Yeah, some of the contracts called for a shot of whiskey every hour they worked. It's looking better now as a job, ain't it? Yeah. So the Irish put their X on, and they came over as essentially indentured servants. And if you run into an Irishman, from Ireland, yeah, that's where Irishmen come from. In the 1820s, he might have sung you this song. In 1821, I put me corduroy breeches on. I put me corduroy breeches on to work upon the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. That's your part to sing. Everybody join in. In 1822, I left the old world for the new, and a curse on them what brought me through to work upon the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. In 1823, 'twas then I met sweet Biddy McGee, and a wonderful wife she made to me, while working on the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. In 1824, they worked me hard and worked me more. My hands and back all getting sore, still working on the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. In 1800, what comes after 4? 5, thanks. I didn't get much schooling being an Irishman. In 1825, they worked me till more dead than alive. Worked us worse than bees in a hive, all working on the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. In 1800, I'm gonna need 2 hands to count this high, ain't I? Yeah. Unfortunately, I got all 10 fingers still. Many of the railroaders didn't, In 1826, it's piling stones and stacking bricks. Sure, 'twas in an awful fix, still working on the railway, the railway. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. By the way, I worked on the railroad nigh unto 40 years, so sit back. This is a very, very long song. In 1827, sweet Biddy McGee, she went to heaven. If she left me one child, she left 11. All working on the railway, the railway. Big finish all together. Poor Paddy Works on the railway. Clap for yourselves if you sang along. And come on back later for some more songs and stories of old railroad days.